going to make some bacon wrapped dates for Kathy. So let me give you a list of what I'm using. First off, I've preheated the oven to 350 degrees. Some recipes I've found online said 450 degrees. First time we did that, we used 450 degrees, and what a spattery bacon mess inside the oven that was. So we figured lower and slower is better. And it takes about an hour to cook at 350, and I'll walk you through that in a little bit. But we're going to start out with some pitted dates, and we got these at a local grocery store, and these happen to be de Glet Noirs. It's a variety of dates. They're from Hadley's, somewhere in southeastern California, and it's the label says thermal, so it's out in the desert. And then some slivered almonds, just blanched slivered almonds, toothpicks, and a pack of bacon I've already cut in half. And this is a hickory smoked bacon from local grocery store. And I counted out the number of strips of bacon in this pack, and there's, I think, 34, and there's like 64 pitted dates in there. So I counted out about 40 toothpicks here, because we're going to wrap bacon around the dates after we stuff the dates with some of the slivered almonds. So I'm going to get going on this, and then I will show you the last couple of them before we put them in the oven. All right, so I went ahead and counted out about 35 dates, because I matched the number of bacon strips I got there. And then I've got slivered almonds in a bowl here, and then I've got about 40 toothpicks here, so that way I don't have to keep sticking my greasy, sugary fingers back into the box of toothpicks. I'm going to start wrapping the dates, and I will show you how I do that. First thing I do, after I get the bacon out of the wrapper, is peel off one slice of bacon, all right? And before I do that, find the open end of the dates, and I'll usually stuff 2 or 3 slivered almonds in there, pieces of slivered almonds, as far as I can get them in. Sometimes the dates are split down the sides. It makes them a heck of a lot easier to stuff, so I'll work one down there and maybe put one more in there. There we go. I like them pretty stuffed. In fact, we even stuffed them with goat cheese one time. That worked out really well. And then I'll take that one slice of bacon, and I'll hold it and wrap it around the date. Okay, and then from this end, and I'll grab a toothpick and stuff that through there. And this is just to hold them together while they're baking, and run it right out about halfway. And I'm just going to set them on a plate, and I'll be back. So I've come to the conclusion that they're a lot easier to stuff when they're split open already. So what I'm doing is just taking a pair of clean kitchen scissors and just splitting them open like this. And it only takes a second, and they're a lot easier to stuff this way than they are trying to stuff them in a little hole that they got the seed out of. So this works. A lot of different varieties of dates, I guess. The Majules are supposed to be the hot one, the one everybody goes after. A more expensive date, and I'm not sure, but I'm guessing they're seasonal as well. But these are what was available a couple days ago when we went to the grocery store. And all things considered, right now, I think we were lucky to find anything in the grocery store. So there we go. So this is how I'm stuffing them now that they're open on one side. I just spread them open a little bit. This one just tore on me. The bacon will hold it together. Bacon's miraculous. It'll do lots of stuff. So I'll just put this one back together. And these things are so sticky. There's so much natural sugar in the dates that they just kind of hold themselves together anyway. I think that one's split. Maybe it's just a little drier, a little smaller, but anyway. So once you get it going, it's actually a pretty fast process. And then what we'll do with these extra slivered almonds, usually just stick them in a skillet, a dry, hot skillet, and dry roast them, and then put them on, we put them on our salads and put them on cereal, wherever else you can get away with any kind of roasted seeds or nuts. We do this with pumpkin seeds as well. We dry roast them. I'm just about done with these here. So I will come back when I start wrapping more with bacon. Okay, so all the dates are stuffed, And now I'm going to start wrapping them with the bacon and put them aside in that plate. This should probably actually go under candy making because dates are like plant candy and bacon is definitely meat candy. So this really is a candy making exercise. It just goes right through like that. And once you get going on it, it's really pretty quick. And I always start with the end of the bacon because it always tears. So I put that on the inside. Do that again here, lift it up. This is that I'm pulling from the end that I cut to the end that was just in the package, the natural raw end there. And roll it up that way. And stick a toothpick through it. That other recipe too also suggested, the one that was talking about 450 degrees in the oven, suggested full strips of bacon, but that's just too much. I mean, there's never too much bacon, but it was just too much for this recipe. It's just better when a half a strip worked better. So I'll be back. There's a little technique that might help when you roll the date. Just rolling them right off the side of the stack here. But here's the flap on the bacon. So I back up just a little bit. And you're going to end up hitting some of the almonds in there. So you just sort of work your way through. You will find it. And then what I do is I put my fingers together on the backside and bring the toothpick out between them so it keeps the bacon from pushing off or whatever. So, all right. So I got plenty of almonds left over for something else. And here is a plate full of magic right there. Bacon wrapped dates stuffed with slivered almonds. The first time we saw this was at a restaurant in Palm Springs. And I think they were stuffed with blue cheese and almonds. And like I said, we did it earlier or another time with goat cheese. Worked really well. Goat cheese and almonds. And it's a lot, they're a lot easier stuffed if you take the time to make sure the dates are split in half lengthwise. So I'm going to show you how I deal with these now. I'm going to dry roast what was left of those almonds. And here's what's left of the toothpicks. And there's bacon grease in the bottom of that. So those are trash. We can just deal with that later. And now we've got the bacon wrapped dates. I've got a sheet pan that I lined with foil. It's a lot easier to clean up when you do that. And a cooling rack. All right, and that'll keep the bacon wrapped dates out of all the oil and allows the oil to drain through. So what I do is I set these in, try and space them evenly with the toothpick going down through the grate. And they go in the oven, 350, preheated. I think that's what, about 177 C for those of you in the Great White North. All right. And then in about 30 minutes, we'll turn them all upside down. And keep them spaced out a little bit. Make sure there's enough room to get all these in. These are just miraculous. We used to do these, or we started out doing these a couple years ago after we saw them at that restaurant out in Palm Springs. And we did it for a couple holiday parties that we went to, you know, where you bring something. And instead of bringing a vat of mashed potatoes or something else like everybody else brings, or, you know, a pie from Costco, whatever, too easy, we thought we'd do something a little special. And we made these bacon wrapped dates. And they were quite a hit. And it's hard to imagine why they were. Right, there we are with 34 relatively evenly spaced rolls of bacon wrapped dates. And it doesn't really matter if you put them with the flap up, like this one here, or the flap down, like that one there. They're gonna, once they start cooking, they tighten up. Bacon wraps up really tight. So they'll go in now, and like I said, a preheated oven, 350 degrees. Let's walk that over. I'm gonna put them on the middle rack. So I can do this without frying myself, because that would suck. And there we are. And I'll set a timer, and we'll come back and visit these in about a half an hour. There we are, 30 minutes, 350 degrees. And in the meantime, I'm gonna go clean all the bacon grease off my phone. Okay, we're back. It's been a half an hour. See what the dates look like. You wanna stand back when you open the oven here, because that steam will come rushing out and curl your hair. So what I'm going to do, pull these out and roll these all over one at a time using a pair of long-handled tongs, just like that. Okay. So there's still a lot of raw bacon. So I'm going to go through all these. I'll come back as soon as I finish rolling. They're all rolled over now. Back in the oven they go for another half an hour at 350 degrees. Okay, so when the buzzer goes off, we'll be back. Okay, so it's been a half an hour. We're all done. You shut the oven off. And there they are. Now these are going to have to come out cool for at least a good half an hour, because otherwise it'd be like sticking hot napalm in your mouth with those hot, chewy, sugary dates. Cook sugar that hot, it's gonna burn. So anyway, that should do it. After this, they'll sit on the rack. All the bacon greases drain nicely into the bottom, make it real easy to clean up. And we'll put these all on a plate, probably pull all the toothpicks out. And they store in the fridge really well. And then you bring them out and I'll put them in the micro, a couple of them in the micro for, I don't know, a minute or so, just to heat them back up. And they're excellent that way. So anyway, hope you make them and I hope you enjoy them.